Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death.
Hello.
Back to Dicing with Death. Welcome to Divans.
Yes, our new character,
Mm-hmm.
our intrepid explorer,
Mm-hmm.
archaeologist in the making, arcanologist.
So, this is going to be on a new landmass, as we have discussed before a little bit. Here it is. This is all the map that you're going to be able to see. The full totality of the map will not be shared with you. We are going to be starting this campaign at the edge of the Age of Heroes, near the end of it. Hopefully, this will be what triggers the end of Age of Heroes here on this island for you. You start in a small town called Krob, which is hard to see because your character token is over it. Your party marker is over it. Mm-hmm. In a rugged, mountainous, not mountainous, but like hilly area. Think of like the Greek peninsula. So lots of rough terrain. There's not really a government. There's not really a system of anything going on. You just live in a small village, and that is as high as the social structure goes. You've got a couple hundred people in your village. There's not really a de facto leader that people just get together and talk about shit when they want to decide things. There's not really a hierarchy. There's not really town guards or a town sheriff or town laws. It's just a bunch of people in the middle of nowhere living together, which is why it's quite dangerous. So, Devon, you were born to what? To a family. Where do you come from?
Aren't we all shepherds here?
Yeah, could be. There might be some other small things here, like someone's probably a leather worker or a whatever. So what, are you son of a shepherd?
Seems fair enough. Yeah.
Does your family herd goats or sheep?
I think sheep. Can you herd goats? Don't they kind of just do their own thing?
Yeah, people herd goats all over the place.
Yeah.
Your family owns sheep. And how old are you when we start? Because I think we're gonna skip around in your life as the campaign progresses, so we should start young. How young do you want to start?
Start with a nice round 20.
It feels so young now, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
Back in the day, 20 was like, oh, you're kind of you're an older person.
We always start characters at age 15 because, like, then you get more years to explore before you start taking old age penalties or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Age 20. Son of a shepherd. And what about your family? Are they living, dead? They're probably got to be at least a couple alive.
They can be living, but I don't think we're going to be that interested in them, are we?
Probably not very much.
I haven't thought to name them or anything. I'm mechanically a half-elf, but I think we're going to kind of ignore that and just say that there's, like, heroic ancient blood in me or something.
Love it. Okay. So... how should we start this? What is your call to action here? You've been seeing this dude out in the wilderness. Probably the sort of person your mom's like, Devon, don't go see that old man out in the hills. He's crazy. Yeah. And I
think while I was tending flocks or tending the sheep, taking them out to graze in the hills. What did I first see? Does he have a hut out there? Does he live in a cave or something? Or did he find me?
I think he lives in like a cave that's 20 or 30 feet up a cliff face, and this cave has a fissure in it that strange gases emerge from, and people refer to him as like the Oracle. But he's sort of like a weird old dude, and so people don't go to him unless there's a real thing that needs to be done. And he can perhaps
would I have
cast
heard
bones.
of him growing up, or would I?
Oh yeah.
Or did I stumble across this cave not knowing who it was? Okay.
No, everyone knows about the old crazy oracle out in the out in the hills.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like the old crazy oracle. He spouts gibberish and he's lecherous. And he's like malformed with like weird warts and bulges and weights on him. He's probably one of these people that was cast aside as a baby, but then survived, maybe raised by animals until he somehow learned speech and integrated with society somewhat. Because in this age, if your baby isn't like a perfect, healthy little child, you just chuck it into the woods and let the animals take care of it.
So he was discarded into the woods, but
he survived. He was stronger than his family thought. We're gonna need a name for this crazy old dude. Maybe a D6 to see if he's a crazy old dude or a crazy old woman. Ooh, a crazy old woman, not a crazy old man. What a twist of events.
crazy lecherous old woman.
Uh-huh. She's always like, come here, boy. I need to feel your thigh to see the future. Yeah. It just makes our sex offenders women and make it okay. Have you seen that show on Netflix called Hollywood?
No, I have not.
It's basically like, we're going to prostitute people, but they're young men, so it's okay. Instead of like, people prostituting women. It's a weird show. Anyway.
Is it done with like tongue in cheek as social commentary, or is it just poor taste?
Yeah, we'll go into it another time. I could talk a while about that show. So what's this crazy old woman in the mountains, in the hills name? We need a good... Oh, what are the... There's the fates. What are the fates called in Greek mythology?
Norns?
Yeah, but they have individual names.
Wait, Norns are Norse. The
Moirai? Moirai? Maori? Their names are Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. Oh, this is definitely Atropos. Fuck yeah, it's a great name.
The unturnable, a metaphor for death. Atropos.
The inflexible. A loader? What's an loader?
Maybe a lotter? Like she allots.
Okay, yeah. A lotter. Spinner, the allotter, and the inflexible. Perfect. So, Atropos. This old crazy woman out there, breathing fumes, wearing an old, dirty, ratted toga. People will climb up to her little nest and throw her coins or food or something in exchange for tales of what their futures might be. She'll waft in the vapors and then cast chicken bones into a cup and then tell people what their fate is. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Everyone thinks she's a bit crazy, and she's definitely handsy. Oh my god, is she handsy?
So, maybe one day I accidentally inhale some of these vapors when I've got my flock nearby, and my eyes glaze over and turn violet, and I can see the auras of magic.
Ooh.
Or I guess bright yellow, whatever the detect magic spell turns them.
Yeah.
Discovering that I have the knack.
And the first thing you will notice with the ability to see these magical auras is that underneath her ratty toga robes and her like shawl that comes out to cover her gnarled, hairy, warty hands is a source of magic on her wrists, on either of her wrists. I shouldn't say either. Both of her wrists is a moderately powerful magical item or set of items in the abjuration school.
But I think in maybe she sees my eyes glow and recognizing powers in me.
Takes you under her wing and hands you over probably doesn't hand them to you at first, but keeps them to herself. These scrolls with spells and incantations, and you can study them while you're with her and learn. Oh, there was something in here about your spell book.
Oh, I do need a spell book on my character sheet.
Mm-hmm. Right, so I think you probably won't have it for now. And so the mana system that we're going to be using here allows you to regain MP when you sleep, but then also allows you to regain MP if you sit and study your spell books as well, as a daytime action. So without your spell books, you'll gain 1d willpower every night. And then if you have spell books that you can study, you can also gain 1d willpower over the course of the day of studying them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start you off with her holding on to these books for you, and then at some point she will gift them to you, or something tragic will happen to her and you will reclaim them, or something in that ballpark. We'll get there later. So one day you are visiting Atropos, and she casts her chicken bones. She smells the vapors. Is the dark magic?
Is there secret spells somewhere? Secret dark magic?
There are secret dark magics.
Is class saying there's a new witch class? Are you working on a witch, or am I working on a witch?
They're talking about Empires of Arcadia. There's going to be I'm going to probably end up making a witch class for 5e. If another PC dies and want to come back as a witch, it'll be like hag inspired. Something like that.
Interesting. I was working on a 2e witch. I think I might have showed
yeah?
it to you. Yeah.
Okay.
All the witches.
Bring them on. So she smells the vapors, throws the chicken bones into a large pestle, and like reaches out with her gnarled hand while her eyes are closed for your leg, and like runs her hand from your knee up your thigh uncomfortably.
I wince, but I don't stop her.
And then as her fingers tighten onto your thigh and the nails begin to dig in, she starts murmuring and rocking back and forth. Her left hand pulling out the chicken bones again and casting them into the pot, but not looking at the answers, intuitively knowing what the bones will say. And as her eyes open and her mind clears and her words go from just garbled gibberish back to some level of comprehensiveness, she stares at you and says, Divan, you have somewhere you must go. There is a grave of a small hero hundreds of years ago that you must visit. The reasons will be made clear when you get there. And she looks towards the sky and says, to the east, where the hills meet the grasslands, meets the ocean, in a cave on the cliffside. You will find your answers there, Divan, as to who you are and what your fate will become. And then the raspiness of her voice sort of drops back to a regular.
I look off into the distance, nod knowingly. Can I roll a folklore check to see if I have heard of this grave of my own accord? 17 is not good. Wait, D20. That's a natural 2.
Yes, you have not yet heard of this grave. This is the age of heroes. It starts when people took up writing. But any time before that is just the age of mist, where only oral tradition lies. So there are
we're well into the age of heroes, right? So writing has been established.
Yes. So you would have known that there have been many heroes that have risen and done something with themselves, but they've eventually fall, and then whatever little empire they created falls behind them as well. They're all little Alexander the Greats, throwing together a massive empire and then having it completely die when they die. I guess his empire stuck around for a couple hundred years, but
Yeah.
never.
Then I will ask, who is this hero?
I'm so bad at names, Ryan. Why do you ask the one question I can't answer?
She can say she doesn't know. She saw it in a vision.
I saw it in a vision. The name eludes me. Tell something.
I will nod and climb down from her cave and head east. Do I already have my armor cast on me?
I suppose so, yeah. You've been wandering around. You live in these areas and they're dangerous, so it makes sense that you would have armor cast on you at all times.
I'm wondering if I've learned that spell or if she's cast it on me or...
No, I think you've learned it by
really
now.
Matter. Okay.
Yeah. The one thing is you're going to have to start in a slightly different location. You will be starting here because you're the... Atropos doesn't live in your town. She's 1 hex away, which is an ideal opportunity to do a quick discussion about our movement system.
Oh, God.
It's fairly simple. Each terrain type takes a number of movements points. You have a number of movement points equal to twice your speed. So if your speed is 12, you can go 24 movement points in a day. And you see that hills will take 10 movement points, so you can go 2 hill hexes in a day. If you want to force march, you get an additional 25% movement. So you could go 3 hills in a day if you want to force march.
All right. No. Am I looking after the flock? So do I abandon my sheep to go off on this quest, or are we saying that I've snuck off on my own?
You will have had to sneak off on your own because you couldn't take your flock here and then leave them down below while you...
I mean, I'm wondering if the sheep are just getting lost and running off, or if I've snuck off. This doesn't matter.
I think anytime that you go visit Atropos, somebody else is watching the flock of sheep. Otherwise, you would probably lose them when you are up in her cave for hours on end.
Sure. All right. Well then, let us journey to the east.
Yes. Her hand slowly runs its way down your thigh towards your knee. The fingers
I'm
digging
standing
through
up.
it. Yeah. You stand up and her hand just slides off your leg.
Yeah. I'm wearing a robe or whatever, but it scratches me through the wool.
Mm-hmm. Go, Divan. Go find your fate, he says. And
steely gray eyes on the horizon. I leave and I don't look back.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll should I start moving my little thing? And
yeah,
roll
you can go
counter checks for me or whatever.
You can go 1 more hex today, and then I will start rolling.
Oh, have I already moved that first one?
Yeah, because it would be partway. You would have had to get here. So
I move 1 more hex, and then that's the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Let me just get the nature tracks that I need for us. Thank God I built these playlists. Sweet. All right, so off you go on your own through the mountains. At some point, you can decide to make a map, or you can wander around to get lost. I'm hoping that the map-making component of this will be fun, but if it's shitty and lame and we hate it, we can scrap it and do more classic movements.
We'll see. I feel like it's visually not very interesting just to see the 1 hex around, but I think it makes sense. Maybe give blurrier vision further, or I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, we can do that. What about... It's not quite enough.
Seemed like that actually decreased it. I need to change my character's name.
There you go. This should give you some vision. You should be able to see your
same,
surrounding hexes and then a little bit of the next set around you.
Yeah, just the color. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. So your first day traveling out. What is the farthest you've ever been from home, Devon? Because I'm thinking this quest
is probably pushing the limit of it, right? Unless that maybe once we've ventured to trade, or every once in a while. Are there other cities nearby?
There are other villages, yeah, definitely. Lots of small
general understanding, because I'm sure occasionally we'll go take our wool to a village or two over.
When you guys have a surplus, you'll take it over and see if you can trade it for something that you need. Yeah, and the villages are sort of scattered and haphazard. Any one of these hexes might have 3 or 4 villages in it, because if it's a 5x5 square, let's call it, even though it's a hex, that's a... you could easily have multiple small villages within 5 miles of each other in a mountainous region, or a rugged region like this.
Yeah.
So any one of these hexes might have a village or might not have a village, and you'll probably run into plenty of them as you cruise around.
Okay. Well, I walk leaning on my staff as I go.
You'll have to have some amount of food with you, right? Probably some dried meat for
Yeah, I didn't record
journeys.
it on my character sheet, but I have a backpack that presumably would have some food in it. Maybe. Or am I starving on my first day out in the woods? I do have a water skin. I mean, I can go a few days without food if I need it. Did I venture out with no food in my pack, or?
You'll probably have like 2 days worth of food in your pack.
Yeah.
A simple amount to travel around with, just in case. Little snack. Survival foods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about taking a fishing proficiency, but I didn't. I think I wasn't an eager learner of the family business. I don't have my animal husbandry type stuff, even if it's in my backstory.
Right. It makes sense. Great heroes often eschew the world that they grew up in for something better, something greater.
Yeah.
So it is on this first day, as you find a place to make camp, that you see a group of buzzards circling overhead.
Over me, or are they directly over it? Like they're circling over me?
Like they're circling over you, or something that's really, really close to you.
I will climb the nearest hill. I'm probably tucked in a little gully, thinking this would be a good spot to camp, and I see the buzzards starting to circle. And I will climb. I'll crest the hill and see if I can get a view of whatever they're looking at.
Mm-hmm. The ground here is low-lying scrub. It's somewhat difficult to move through. It might block your path from time to time, making you do some weird twisty shapes. And why don't you give me the first roll of the game, which of course is a perception check. Because what else?
I mean, I rolled my folklore check, but oh, it doesn't say making a perception check. It just rolls.
Yeah. I think
it say.
It should say. I think in the newer version it does, but I forgot to update this instance of the character sheet because we've been playing with your stuff for a while.
Anyways, I nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it. Yeah, you will spot fairly nearby a creature lying low in between some of the brush, watching at you. It is a a 2-headed mountain lion.
Have I heard of such things, or is this like a mutant?
This is definitely a mutant. You've heard of 2-headed beasts before, but not a natural creature like this. Maybe like a 2-headed ogre or a 2-headed cyclops or one of these other monstrous things, but a two-headed mountain lion is an unusual thing. It is not typically of this world. Not typically here.
So where is it? If I go to climb a hill to get a better view. Do I see it like down the valley, or do I see it on my way up the hill?
It's as you're coming up the hill, like you were in a little bit of a valley. So you go up one side of the hill, and as you look back, it's on the other side of the valley, in some chaparral, as if it were getting ready to pounce on you while you were setting up camp.
Well, how far away is it?
Maybe 80 feet down and 80 feet up, so probably like 100 feet across. No, that's not right. That would make a really steep thing. Probably like 40 feet down, 40 feet up, so it's 100 feet across. There we go.
Well, I pull out my sling and wind it up and go to peg this thing.
All right. Swing. Mm-hmm.
I don't. Oh, attack.
And you roll a 2. Your little sling stone goes right into the bush next to the two-headed mountain lion.
It's actually a bullet. It's probably a little brass bead.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a valuable nug, but off it goes. Does the creature even notice me?
Yes.
Such a miserable miss.
He is stalking you. It is stalking you, and it will see you make the attack. It'll get startled by what's in the bush, and I don't know if the creature understands that was a projectile thrown from you. Right? That's a pretty advanced thing to understand that. Relatively advanced. So you will notice the creature like tenses and looks to the side as if it's waiting for a predator or something else to come by, and it like loses sight of you for a minute while it investigates this noise.
Yeah, and I think I like dash off perpendicular to where I am and get ready to throw another bullet if I get another round.
Yes, the cat will spend this round slowly moving through the low-lying bush to see what the fuck this thing is, and end its turn pawing at the little piece of brass on the ground, the unusual reflective surface in an otherwise dull terrain.
Yeah.
Your attack is so bad it doesn't even provoke an enemy attack.
Yeah. It was a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
So I move. What can you move and attack at your full rate of fire? I don't have like my special missile weapon things. Can you do half? And
I think you can do. It's normally half move, half attack, but if your attack is 1, I think you can half move and sling.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So normally you have to stand still to make your full rate of fire?
To get your full rate of fire? Or, yeah. If you have a bow, I think you need to stand still to get your full rate.
Okay, then maybe I don't move at all. Maybe I just or is 1 the minimum?
I think 1 is the minimum. Yeah.
Okay. That seems fair. So I move 60 feet to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Should we roll initiative, or should I keep slinging until it notices me? Or until it, I don't know, recognizes?
Yeah, it sees its prey has moved, and it will come for you. So let us roll the initiatives.
How far away is it from me?
You've moved 60 feet. It was about 100 feet across, so now it's 100. I guess you haven't... It's got to go 40 feet down and 40 feet up, and now 60 feet over. So doing a little bit of trig, it's probably 40, 60 or 40, 80.
So can it sprint and reach me in a round?
It probably wouldn't be able to reach and attack you at the same time because it has to go up a hill to get to you. Okay. If it was on flat ground, it might be able to do it.
Then I'll prepare to do another sling before closing into melee.
Excellent. See if I can just get a little bobcat. No, we'll just use a regular line. A regular.
Oh, I don't have a token, so I just rolled in chat.
That is.
If I click on this, would it let me? Oh, I could do.
Oh yeah, you could use the hex for your. There you go.
There we go. But it was
slings are slow.
7. Yeah.
Yeah, but that makes sense because a sling you got to put the bullet in and get it wound up and spun up, and you have limited options of timing releases. If you make a small mistake, you'll have to let it go a whole circle again to toss. Makes sense to me. So the mountain lion will burst forth, both of its heads growling. It'll come down the slope past your little camp and start to scamper up the hillside towards you. And I think you'll probably get your attack off before it closes all the way. So make your attack.
15 should hit.
That will easily hit the two-headed mountain lion.
For 4 points of damage.
Which will, I think, that'll do, how do I tell you this? That'll do about 40% of its HP.
This will be easy enough. It's a weak lion.
Yeah.
I will,
Kinda low.
stuff the sling into my pocket, switching to staff, and get ready to face this beast.
All right. Well, the lion has moved. Let's roll initiative for next round, and this round it will definitely be within melee range. You will get a... Is that a 3 on your initiative die?
I'm quick with my staff. It's the one shepherding skill that I actually paid attention to.
Perfect.
So I guess I will ready my my staff to smack it.
Mm-hmm. Righty then. Let's go for it, Ryan.
All right. So the creature, I get my staff ready, and the creature closes.
Mm-hmm. I guess if you ready your attack, the creature closes.
Missed it with the staff, but it even with my fist, I should get faster than that. And I'm a martial artist, so I can fist without provoking OAs.
Mm-hmm.
So I distract it with the staff and then promptly slap it with my hand for 3 points of damage.
You punch the creature, the mountain lion, across one of its heads.
Mm-hmm.
Did 4 the first time, and now you're doing 3. That's a total of 7 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The two-headed mountain lion growls, it roars, and both heads go to bite you.
Yeah, because I get a free block versus one of them.
All right.
I'll let you decide which one. 9 is a fail, I think.
Fail, all right. Mountain lion will roll a 6, a modified 6, and a modified 13 against you.
Nope.
Neither of which get anywhere close to our 17 AC wizard here. And then its 4 paws go to claw you.
How many attacks?
4. I guess it gets 4 attacks.
That seems like, 2, you mean 2 paws, 2 heads?
2 paws, 2 bites, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The first paw will roll an 8, but the second paw will smack you with a natural 18 modified 21. So a big, meaty mountain lion paw comes right across your chest, ripping you for 3 points of damage. Bloodying your chest, giving you some big slashes across it that begin to bleed slowly.
Not a crit, but...
Right, you would have needed to roll 1 or 2 more to be a crit.
I think 1 more. 17.
Ah, yes. So, next round, initiative. That is not the mountain lion token. Mountain lion goes at 7. Our hero, the brave Divan, at 4.
It's 12. Uh-oh.
The 12 with the staff is a miss. It goes like right between the two lions' heads as it rears back up onto its hind legs, ready to like fall down onto you in that like predator. I'm going up and over and
How about a 14?
That'll do it in its soft underbelly where those ribs are and that the untouchable fur.
with another slap.
You punch the critter, who drops to 1 HP.
Oh.
1 hit point remaining.
I got a second attack at the end of the round. So I'm going to use my magic instinctively to conjure a wall of force. Quick gesture, I produce an angled wall of force between me and the target. blocking an incoming attack. I'll block one of the bites.
Yeah, you don't have to if it has multiple attacks, you would just do it on the one that will close with you, right? It's an instant spell, so it happens like when you're about to take damage.
Yeah, it says I need to announce before the attack roll is made.
Right, like I will be casting Glancing Blow on the ogre's next attack. So it can't be like, oh, you're hit. Well, now I'm going to cast Glancing Blow. It's like I'm going to cast it if I get hit, I think is the way it will work. So you have to show the intent, and then it can trigger as needed. Is the design intent.
But do I use the spell points even if it doesn't hit me?
No, because you don't ready it. So you could literally say, I cast Glancing Blow every single round, and then it only goes off when you get hit, if you really wanted to show intent. But I think people generally don't behave that way. People like to save their mana.
Okay.
We'll adjust if it's too powerful this way.
So I'll only use the spell points if the attack would hit.
Right. But you have to be at least mentally prepared to be deflecting incoming blows.
Okay. It seems weird. It seems like you should always just be mentally prepared to deflect incoming blows.
Maybe. I'm open to suggestions, but let's take it like this. So the bites come with
I do get a free block with my staff.
Would you like to use it?
I don't know if we want to do this before or after. Let's see. I do roll an 18, but I guess it would have to roll only if it crits. Would that matter? Because I need to succeed lower
with a lower die roll, right?
Yeah,
right.
So it would block if it crits me.
So you bring your staff up to block one of the heads, and the head sort of moves around the staff to try and get an angle on you and cannot make it, nor can the other head. They both miss. 1 9 and 1 16. And then the paws come in. The first paw is a 14. The second paw is a 17 exactly, which is when your deflecting glancing blow spell goes off. Mountain Lion will do 2 damage to you, but you reduce it by
D8 plus level, so it'll reduce it to 0. I could
reduce it to
roll
0. Yeah.
Oh, good thing. All right, so I drop 3 MP.
The angled wall of force appears between you and the creature. Its paw like scrapes down this wall instead of across your body, and this spooks the mountain lion. It's a weird creature. It's badly wounded. The only reason it's fighting you at this point is probably because it's starving, but you have wall of forced it in a way, and it's unfamiliar with these magics, so it will flee using a move action, not a disengage, bounding down the hill and away from you. You have a weapon in hand. I will
chase after it. I have a second attack at the end of the round, and I also have an opportunity attack.
Go for the opportunity attack.
Which is a miss, probably even with the back attack. And then, but I would like to chase after it and get a second and take my extra attack at the end of the round.
Sure. It does a half move. It has movement speed 12. You have movement speed 12.
All the 8s. And then I think I will try to sling it as it runs away.
Right. So next round initiative, it begins to scamper down some hills. You pull out a sling.
Oh.
It gets an 11 on the initiative.
I didn't have the token selected, so sling is slow. It takes a while.
You have to fish
but
out
I think
the
it'll
stone
still be within 150 feet by the time. Right.
It'll go 120 feet down the hill. It can't really scamper. It can't flat out run in this rugged terrain. It has to move between rocks and over this thing and behind that thing. So it'll get to 120 feet from you, and you can
finish.
It's still short range.
Yeah.
17 will crack the tiger in the back of the spine, and the creature will fall face first into a rough, rocky area. And stop moving.
I'm a shepherd. I'm used to killing wolves and lions that threaten my flock. This 2-headed creature is something else. So I will approach the felled lion and investigate. Have I heard of anything like this? Should I roll a folklore check?
Please do. There we go. Yes, Devon. You have heard of various two-headed creatures. Never a two-headed mountain lion before, but your folklore check tells you that this is a specific creation of the gods. You know that every species, everything was intended and created by a god. For example, elves are a creation of Astaire, probably with a little help of Nerul. They are orderly creatures who live long periods of time and like to shape everything to their function and follow a very specific path. They are creatures of Astaire, for example. And people might say that dwarves are beings of Seor, great crafters and forgers. Humans are controversial creatures of Malchus,
That's
they
what I was going to say.
Unpredictable, wild, able to achieve great heights, but also very undirected.
So half-elves are the perfect balance between order and chaos. Astaire and Malchus.
Mm-hmm. Yes, some might say that. Weird creatures, typically not able to even breed amongst each other since they're such mixes of opposite. Not the book I'm looking for. A two-headed creature, however, is said to be one of two things. That's either a being of Dwarbath and Guam, who is the two-headed god of knowledge and wisdom. Although in this situation, that seems a little unlikely. Knowledge
Those are
and
my
wisdom.
favorite gods. Perhaps I see this as an omen. But what would you saying the more likely option is?
I was scrolling through my deities and trying to buy time. I mean, it would either be that, or maybe another creature of chaos, or a creature of death. I think one of those are probably your inclination to believe that this was placed here by Malchus over Rossi or a Dwarbath from Guam.
I think knowledge and wisdom being my favored deities. Maybe I see this as a good sign. I didn't really imagine myself as the type to go around wearing animal skins, but it seems a shame to pass up a two-headed lion.
Mm-hmm.
What state is the creature in? Is it scrawny and starving?
Yes. Yes, you can see its ribs very easily on its body. It didn't have very much HP. It had 3d8 plus 1 and it rolled an 11, so like that's pretty crap. This creature
Is the hide, what quality is the hide?
It's a little patchy here and there, but the manes are... Like, mountain lions don't have manes.
Does it have two manes?
No. Mountain lions don't have manes, do they? I don't think so.
No.
The hide is a little thin in some places, but otherwise fully intact. You've done only bludgeoning damage to it, so you haven't even ripped open the hide. It's not bleeding from anywhere. It's just internal body damage. It's hard to get a hide in better condition than this unless you like fed this mountain lion chicken and rice and all sorts of juicy fats and let its coat get nice and good and had to eat a lot of salad because salad makes your hair shiny. That's what my dad told me to try and get me to eat my salads as a child.
Did you want shiny hair? Is that a good
No,
thing?
I didn't. It didn't help at all.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't give a shit about shiny hair, Dad. He's like, eat your salad. It makes your hair shiny.
My uncle used to be like, you should eat your vegetables. It'll put hair on your chest. And I would, no vegetables, please.
But clearly you ate your vegetables, Ryan. I've seen you shirtless.
Alas. Not that hairy. Just the right amount of hairy.
That's right.
Okay. I guess we'll keep this lion, but is Lauren saying something?
No, it started to rain.
Oh.
And I just couldn't quite tell. You get these brief thunderstorms in the afternoons.
I don't have any sort of tanning leatherworking skills. So would I know anything about whether I should like field dress this and gut the lion, or if I should just carry the whole creature back?
Well, your family would be the people that would know how to do that. You could muddle your way around here, but you'd probably end up like trying to like cut through along and then just like rip through the hide and ruin it. Most likely.
I guess it's probably technically still alive, right? It'll stay unconscious for a few days.
Yeah, I guess it's just so badly beaten that it's in the state of dying, and this creature probably isn't going to put up a fight to live too long. So it'll last out in this weather with this heat and without access to any water while it's got internal damaging. It'll probably die over the next couple hours.
Hours, not days. Okay.
I mean, hours could be up to 15, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even in its hungry, scrawny state, it still weighs a good 120 pounds.
What is my weight allowance? I could be severely encumbered and drag it back.
I think if you drag, you only have to carry half the weight, essentially. Because part of the weight stays on the ground.
Well, I will think on this as I bed down for the night.
Next to your mountain lion.
Yeah. Thinking on it is a good omen.
You said Dwarbath and Guam are your favorite gods, are Divans?
Yeah,
favorites?
before I knew how primitive our society was going to be, I was going to imagine being like a monk of knowledge and wisdom, seeking out ancient ruins. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe this is where I
Get that inspiration.
first get that inspiration. Yeah, this two-headed beast.
Okay. You can bed down for the night here. And as you do so, you have visions of Atropos, her hand on your thigh, the raspiness of her voice, the weird ways she rocks back and forth, and the faint scent of sulfur emanating from the fissure in the ground with her. During these visions, you will also, or during these dreams, you will remember her instructions, the place where the hills meet the plains meets the sea, and you will see a cliffside grotto, maybe 20 feet from the crashing water below, 20 feet from the cliff top above, a small little entryway, maybe 7 feet wide, 6 feet tall, open to the air, facing the east, getting the first rays of light. And then as it's sort of like time will move quickly through your head, and as the sun rises to the point that it no longer shines inside the grotto, you will see a shadow crawling out. Sort of like it goes into shade, and then the shade just gets darker and darker, covering the front entranceway until it is pitch black and cannot be seen. And then the sun continues its way through the sky, and the dream ends. You wake up next to the mountain lion. It has passed away in the night. It's been a cool evening out here in the wood, in the hills. So it's not quite yet started to rot, but the sun is coming up. It will be beating down upon the both of you, and soon the creature will fester.
Do I regain spell points?
Oh, this is a great time. So let's take a look at that. Did I send you the wizard rebuild page?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Resting is defined as minimal physical activity.
So did getting in the fight interrupt that, or if I'm...
Sleep is very important for spellcasters. Anything less than good sleep is worthless when it comes to recovering spent mana. Good sleep is warm, dry, and uninterrupted by situational or environmental factors. Quality sleep is being totally relaxed and comfortable, like a feather bed in an inn or in your own home, on top of the requirements.
Temperate hillside.
You are warm and dry and uninterrupted.
Seems like good enough sleep, right? So I can roll 1d willpower.
1d willpower. You expended 6 spell points?
Yeah.
In the battle?
Wait. I didn't want to do a willpower check, but... Oh, okay, I see. I want to do 1d13, not a willpower check. Yeah. All right. More than enough. I only expended 3, so I've got my armor spell, which is eating up.
Got it.
3, so I gain enough to get back to full.
Perfect.
What to do with this creature? I'm tempted to just take it back to town. It seems like such a prize. Do I know how far the ocean is?
No. You know that there is an ocean, but you've probably never, or you've only ever seen it from a distance. You know that Necrot is sort of like there's an ocean in all directions, basically.
Yeah.
And you've probably seen it when you've traveled west from the top of a hill over like 20 miles of terrain. You've just seen like blue in the distance, but you've never been to the seaside. Maybe you will trade with some of those grassland people for salt that they evaporate out of the ocean when you have extra wool.
Could I fashion a sled to drag this lion on, or like pile it on some sticks or something?
Sled technology. Yeah, totally. That's fine.
I'm wondering how much that would slow me down to travel with.
It would probably be faster in the long term, slower in the short term, because you got to spend an hour to make a sled.
Oh, sure. But yeah. Would I be encumbered? Could I still move 2 hexes with a lion dragging?
If you can fashion a sled to drag the lion, we'll say it will only take, a third of the weight instead of half of the weight, which would be dragging it on rugged ground. So 120 goes down to 40 pounds. Does that encumber you?
40 pounds on top of my 20. It will lightly encumber me, I think.
What would your movement rate be then? 9?
I think it would be 8, according to the sheet.
So if you force march, you could get back to Necrot by nightfall then.
What does a force march do? Does that penalize anything, or?
I haven't come up with the rules for a force march yet. I just knew that it's a thing. We should talk about it. What should... I think there are force march rules somewhere in the player's handbook, but I don't think they're very good.
And I think instead of that, I'm going to hide the lion corpse. Do my best to like find a way to stash it in some bushes, preserve it in a spot that I can remember. Like hopefully set it up in a way that predators won't bother it. But we'll see. We'll see if the gods truly are looking after me and my bounty.
Dave March, a character makes a con check. Creatures must roll. Wait, you make a con check? First, make average group. Creatures must roll a saving throw versus death. At the end of the day is a force march since they lack constitution. Oh, that's creatures. Okay. -1 penalty is applied to each consecutive day of force marching. If the check is passed, the force march can continue. If it's failed, no more force marching attempts can be made until the characters have completely recovered from the ordeal. Recovery requires a half day per day of force marching. Oh, okay.
So basically, you just need a con check.
It's a con check, and if you fail, you can't push yourself any farther until you have rested for all the force march days. That's actually kind of nice.
Okay.
That's not as bad as I thought.
I could force march if I needed to, but I'm not going to bother.
One drawback of a force march is that each day of force march results in a -1 penalty to all attack rolls. This modifier is cumulative.
Okay, so it does give combat penalties.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually not bad. You will stash the body here, you say?
Yeah, if I can find maybe if I could find a cave to put it in, or like some bushes. Do we want to roll to see how good of a quality stash I can find or make, or?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do that in secret somehow, or?
No, why don't you make me a wisdom willpower check for your ability to stash it?
No, unless we want to use that 25 that I rolled accidentally.
No. Yeah, you'll put the 2-headed lion tucked in maybe like a little stream gully where some plants have overgrown it.
And some animal will probably come and eat it.
Perhaps, or maybe you'll just have to roll
the bones
really high to find it if you come back to this hex. Now, this is one of those areas where the grid system is going to be interesting because I've marked this hex where the lion is on the GM layer. But you will have to be able to return to the same hex to find the mountain lion.
Yeah, and I have not been making my own map yet. I'll get to that eventually, but so far I haven't. All right, so we'll spend maybe an hour tucking the lion away and then get back to moving.
Okay.
So I'll move 1 hex to the right. And the other hex to the right.
Yes. In the far distance, you can see the ocean. It lies to the northeast of you at this point, and east as well. It's just a blue sliver of shininess that you can see over the next few hills. It'll be another half day before you can actually get to the ocean's edge.
Yeah, so if I force march now, that would immediately give me a -1 on attack rolls.
Mm-hmm. Until you've had your days of rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you will eat your...
Is a day of rest, does it need to be a full day of rest, or is it just a night of rest?
Half day of rest is required to 1 day worth of force. So yeah, so you would need to be like sit down and say, I'm not going to move for half a day, or I'm going to just take the whole day off in camp and chill.
All right, so it's probably better to just rest here.
Mm-hmm. This will be the end of your food supplies, which is not that big of a deal. You can easily go many days without food, especially in such a brutal environment where you probably have to go many days without food even during good times.
Yeah, but I'll be on the lookout. I guess tomorrow I'll be on the lookout for food.
Mm-hmm. You didn't have any survival proficiencies?
No, I have first aid.
It's interesting to take because you can't first aid yourself when you're unconscious.
You know what? Regrets. Or maybe I'll ask if I can swap that for something more sensible, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. It's totally useless in a solo campaign, isn't it?
Completely useless. You might want to swap that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You can still swap it out.
Yeah, we'll see what makes sense. I mean, I think a lot of these I maybe haven't totally learned yet.
Mm-hmm. Fine.
So
You're a young man. You're only 20 years of age, still wet behind the ears. Your brain won't be developed for another 7 years. Fully developed for another 7 years.
yeah. So does anything happen on that day, or do I rest?
Nope. The day is just walking in the baking sun, seeing a few animals here or there. The buzzards are long gone by now. You might catch the occasional jackrabbit hopping through something. Plenty of little birds, small lizards abound. Yeah, it's an ordinary day. We'll go on to the next one, the third one, and go ahead and make your movement.
Do I gain an HP from that second day of walking?
You didn't force march, but you're hiking through the hills, but you're getting a rest.
Yeah, I didn't push it, and I actually went less than I could have. Let's see. Movement rates. Right, I could have moved 24.
And
I only moved 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you can get an HP back. Fine. You didn't do anything strenuous. You are sort of hiking through the hills, but you can go at a slower pace because you don't have to use all of your movements.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
It's nice.
Third day, I will move to the shore.
And for the first time, Devon will gaze out over at the ocean, the infinite blue waters that stretch on farther than the eye can see, the great vastness and flatness of it all. It is a sight to behold for those who have never seen it. From your position,
Spend some little time this afternoon taking in the ocean, and then scanning the coastline, looking, I think, north to see if I see cliffs.
You are standing atop a cliff right now. The hills do not roll gently down to meet the sea. They sort of end in sheer cliffs of dirt, rock. The earth here is reddish. There's a high iron content in the soil. And the cliffs you can see are red most of the way down, and then near the bottom turn a little bit more bluey, rocky, as if there's a different layer of earth down there.
Okay.
To the south of you are plains. To the north of you are hills. To the east is the sea.
All right.
Hear gulls in the distance.
Then I will head north, looking out for a cave on the cliffs that matched my vision, and also food.
Yes.
Maybe a bird that I can smack with a sling bullet. or something I can forage in the... Yeah.
Well, there are large rat-eating seagulls floating around gliding around above the cliffs where the cool air and the hot air from the ocean meet and kind of create these updrafts that the gulls can use to stay afloat without having to flap their wings. They're thermals, that's what they call them.
Is that rat eating? Was that a thing in this pandemic? The seagulls are eating rats? Is that what you're referencing?
They're returning to their natural... Yes, the seagulls are returning to nature. They're carnivores. They don't eat trash naturally. They eat other creatures. Birds, rats.
Well, so I'll move, I guess, 1 hex north that day. Looking for a cave along the cliffs. And maybe some easy food.
Yeah, roll me that perception check as you scan for caves.
Nailed it.
Nailed it, and you do not find such a cave, but you will eventually see... What do you call these things? A monitor lizard, that's the word. A big-ass monitor lizard sort of prowling in the shade between a rock face and underneath a small scrubby tree with just a few leaves on it. This monitor lizard is slow, probably not too much of a threat to you. Its large forked tongue sticks out to taste the air. It looks a little lean like everything else around here.
All right. I think I will run it down and save myself a bullet. Actually, I don't know what's a safer bet for killing a creature. I'd probably sling it from a close distance and then try to chase it down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start
these
losing
monitor
a sling bullet.
lizards are not terribly dangerous. Like, they can certainly defend themselves, but they're not natural predators of humans.
Yeah, small.
So their bite can be damaging. Might be a real threat to a child. To an adult, it's probably just gonna like fuck you up and make you not want to get too close to it, but you could probably take fuckers.
Or just kill a lion. Of course I can take a monitor lizard.
Yeah.
So I totally whiff on my sling. Do you want to save it versus death or anything?
You rolled 1. No, I think you put your sling bolt in and you go to spin around and like the bolt flies behind you and falls off a cliff and plunges into the water. And
probably should have thought to ask about recovering my bullets with the lion, but next time.
Mm-hmm. Monitor lizard just keeps going on its way, stalking foot after foot, going. It's headed towards the coast, right up to the cliff.
I pick up running after it, forgoing my sling in lieu of a batter. So I go to catch it, snatch its tail, smack it with a staff, whatever. It started crawling away, and I can't let it escape. That's my dinner.
All right. The monitor lizard will hear you coming. It'll turn to face you, and as you close the gap, it hisses and gets ready to fight you. Probably not super effectively, but who knows? It can still roll a 20.
Should we do initiative or what?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty slow. Does it ready an attack before I get there?
Get myself a lizard token first. Oh, yeah, here it is. 1 lizard token. Not showing up there to go. There we go. Monitor lizard. Initiative 13, baby.
Nope.
Oh my god, Devon. You... double critical? I don't think a lizard has higher than AC 10. I can't imagine it having higher than AC 10.
Splat? Does it survive?
8 damage. No, never mind. It's dead. How do you kill
battle
it?
Music. I think I just chase after it. It turns and hisses, and there's just a staff that crushes its skull in one blow.
Yeah, it's a perfect blow. There's a rock underneath its head, and the skull splits open. The monitor lizard twitches, its tail swishing reflexively as the body dies, and neurons fire, and sodium bridges get made for probably another 5 or 10 minutes, but it's definitely dead.
All right. I need a quick break. We can either take a break or just do. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Up to you.
Be back in 30 seconds.
All
I
right.
got to set some things up anyway. Little lizard. I'm really excited to show off this map, and I'm really bummed that we're doing this hex by hex movement rate because it's very, what do you call it? It doesn't show off the map very well, and I want to show off the map, but like I also want to explore this new map exploring type. So one day we'll show off the beauty of this thing. We made it last night on stream and then deleted the VODs so that nobody else could take screenshots of it and make big maps. All right.
All right.
You can get your monitor. You can eat the meat. There's plenty of brush here with which to make a fire and cook your lizard over. You all know cooked lizard gives you far more nutritional value than raw lizard and has far fewer parasites.
Exactly.
Always cook your meat.
So I camp here along the shore.
Yep.
And yeah, eat my meat.
Your lizard is
Rest up and wait.
I think it's time to see how good your lizard tastes, Ryan. Want to roll a grub skill?
Do I have heroic grub skill or is standard?
Yes, you
3d6?
have heroic grub skill, of course.
Oh, only
Not
10.
that heroic.
Not that. 26.
Yeah. Well, you might be stringy. He might be tough, but there's a lizard flavor that is hard to beat. Of course, you can't consume the whole creature in one sitting, but you could maybe dry some out, make yourself some jerky strips to go.
Munch on a lizard leg while I walk tomorrow.
Yeah, at
Nothing
least
better
it'll
than
be-
a lizard after a hard day of starvation.
Day 4. You wake up to the sound of birds and gulls. A cool wind blows off the coast, giving you a nice, refreshing breeze in an otherwise warm summer on these hills.
All right.
Starting
I
summer.
pick up the travel. Heading north along the coast. One hex.
1 hex. Yep.
Should I roll any perception checks or?
Yes, please do.
Oh, nope.
The cliff here becomes very dangerous. The angle of incline kind of switches, so it gets a little bit more like this at the top, so you can't actually look over the edge and see the sheer side. If you were to try and scramble down to where it becomes sheer, you would probably lose your footing on the unstable, dirty cliff side. And I think you're just
not
unable.
grab Featherfall. All right.
You just can't see if there's a cliff here at all whatsoever.
I will continue another hex north.
Okay. This is day 4, right? 3, 4. Your lizard meat will keep you through the day. Today, you will come across a small village. As you peek over one hill and come down to another, you'll see that there is a deep ravine that slices its way through the hills here and makes its way into a waterfall that dangles 40 feet off the cliff before plunging into the ocean, and down near the base of this ravine, where the water, right before the waterfall, is a small village of maybe 8 buildings. There's a little pen with some goats in it. You can see little bits of fire rising from a hole in the roof, not even a proper chimney. These have like mud brick building walls with stick roofs, not even really thatched roofs, just something to give you a little bit of shade, and maybe some animal skins tucked under the sticks, or like wedged between 2 layers of sticks to give you some shelter from the water. Not on the top layer because you want that in shade so that it doesn't wear out in the sun as much.
Well, I will venture into this village.
Oh.
And look for people.
They are here. They see you coming, and in the tradition of the people in this area, they immediately invite you into their home. That's the first thing they say to you when they see you is, "Welcome, traveler. Can I offer you food, shelter, water?"
Oh, please, I've had nothing but lizard meat to eat for days. My name is Vaughn. Do I have a name for my village?
Necrot.
Necrot. Was that the city or?
That's the village. Right now it's a village. In the future, it becomes a city.
Okay. I am from Necrot in the west. Come on a pilgrimage seeking the tomb of a great hero here along the coast. Perhaps you know of it?
A tomb of a great hero along the coast? You speak of Seltzer.
Yes.
This is what happens when you name things based on what's sitting around on your desk. Seltzer. Epic. Original. Kroger Seltzer. Wow. Interesting names.
Is it polite to accept their food and their hospitality if I'm invited in?
It is.
Should I offer to pay them?
If you would like to be polite, that would be a wonderful way of doing it.
Yeah.
This environment is hostile, and the gods here, according to local folklore, frown upon people who shun one another. Granted, in times of war, or if someone's clearly a threat, it's a little bit different, but you're not going to survive on your own in this world, so if you don't help each other out, no one lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Way.
We'll say, yes, I am... I'm quite hungry. I would appreciate any food you have to offer. I don't have anything to trade, but I have a few bits of copper I could be happy to exchange.
In traditional fashion,
lodging.
They will make a refusal at first. They are almost honor bound to refuse your first offer in case you are too poor to actually afford such things.
Maybe I don't even insist. I just leave the copper behind when I depart in the morning.
Very appropriate.
I'll ask them where Seltzer is interred, and maybe to regale me with tales of this hero.
Yes.
Is this a particular family that just randomly offered to take me in, or is
it was the
village gathered to talk with me? What is?
Most of the people are out right now herding their creatures. The few people that are here are the children, the guardians of the children, the old, and a couple of people whose jobs involve spinning wool into thread and then looming it into fabric.
Yeah.
So it's the domestic workers that are left here. You will learn that this village is named Kroger.
Yeah.
And the family here that is taking you in, the person that you see before you is a middle-aged man. Who's the one that invited you in. He's the guy who works the loom. His name is Loomer.
Loomer.
They are creative.
Do I not know of this man from my wool trading?
No, you've never seen this podunk village. You've never been this far north. Seltzer. They say about her. They say that she came from the sea. She was born of sea foam on the waves, a creature of semi-divine origins, created by the gods, not like the rest of us who are sired by each other, but created from the sea foam, from the sand. Her hair was coarse and rough, her skin light and fluffy.
Where can I find her grave?
It has been buried and hidden somewhere near where she arose. The location itself is a mystery to me.
Is that further north of here? Would that be further north of here? Do other villages speak of her, or is she a local hero?
I think many know of the legend of Seltzer. She came out near a beach, somewhere as around. I don't know where, but this area here is cliffy and rocky, and there are no beaches until... He shrugs.
Well,
I believe further north is a swamp. So perhaps south, or perhaps on the other side of the island?
might have overshot it. Well then, thank you for your hospitality, and rest the night.
Yeah, they accept you here. Eventually the rest of the village will return. They're excited to see a new person. Many people come off asking what you have to trade, and soon the information spreads that you're not here to trade. You are looking for the tomb of Seltzer.
Yes.
And one of the people here, not Loomer, but one of his children, his oldest daughter, asks you why. Mister, why are you looking for the tomb of Seltzer? Why are you looking to disturb her rest?
An oracle in my village had a vision of this tomb, and said I was destined to seek it out. I do not know what I will find there, but on the way here I encountered a two-headed lion. An omen, I think, of Dorboth and Guam. Perhaps knowledge and wisdom await me at this tomb.
Will seem eager about this. Visions are not unheard of. Many people have had them. Some are skeptical of these visions. Others regard them with great significance and meaning. They'll treat you. They'll host you. They will give you meager meals, let you fill your water skin from their little creek. You can see it. The waterfall that it creates basically turns to mist before it hits the ocean because it's not that thick of a creek that runs out of here. They'll tell you the creek runs back to a small spring about 15 miles through the hills. And the spring is clear, clean water that flows year-round. It's said to be blessed by a local spirit to keep it safe. No one has ever been attacked at this spring. The predators will come and drink from the water's edge, but not attack the people who sit there or bathe there or drink from it. And in return, to honor the local spirit who protects the people, none of these villagers will ever attack anyone or any creatures that come to drink from the water's edge, considering them to be protected on that journey.
Excuse me. Well, interesting. But I don't think I have time to investigate. I will fill my water skin in this creek, but the next morning I will return south. I think that I've overshot.
Yep. Okay. Next day.
How valuable are copper? How many copper would I think to leave behind?
2 or 3 would be an appropriate parting gift, but that's gonna pretty drastically reduce your supplies.
I'll leave 3 behind. Seems like a Appropriate gesture. I started with a 10 anyways, so.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I will head back south. 1, 2. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
And growing impatient, I think I will force march. Did I get any food from them as I left, or could that have been possible? Like take some food for the
Yeah,
road?
they would have given you some
Like a
flatbread
loaf of
with
bread
a
or
little
something?
bit
Yeah.
of lamb wrapped in it.
Yeah.
What do we call it? Ormanon? No, Karmanon?
Are they
It's a certain
Indian?
type of naan that has, what'd you
Mhm.
call it?
I said, are they Indian? I thought we were Greek.
They're
All
Greek,
the
but Greeks
above.
had
All the best
flatbread.
cultures. And burritos and any other food Neal's craving at the time.
No, the Greeks had flatbreads. That's a
Yeah.
Greek food, and we just stuff some lamb in there. But there's a term for it in India, which the Greeks could have done. They had a lot of lamb and a lot of flatbreads.
I think I'm going to start force marching. Oh, I need to rest and recover. No, it's fine. It's fine. So I'll rest on this, what is like 5 days.
Mm-hmm. It is on this day, as you make your camping spot near the cliffs, that you look out into the ocean, and you see maybe 3,000 or 4,000 feet away some rocks down below, well out of reach and well out of shouting range. There appear to be two people lounging on the rocks in the middle of the ocean. These rocks jut up and come maybe 15 feet high at most, but they're usually sort of flat and stretch. And there are two people just lounging on the rocks.
Do they have fishy tails?
They do not.
How rough are the oceans here?
Like how rough are the seas?
Yeah.
It's not too bad right now. The surf at the very base of the cliffs can be daunting because there's no beach landing, but beyond that, it's, how would you measure that? Like the waves have a period of 20 seconds, so that gives you plenty of time to move between them.
Yeah, or more how high the waves are or anything like that. Would it be crazy to climb down this cliff, or is it?
It's like a 50, 60 foot cliff. A failure would easily spell death.
I'll watch these people, curious, but I don't think I'm going to join them unless I see an easy path down to the rocks.
Give me a perception check.
Yeah, so maybe I'll look around to see if there's I pass. So I have a look around. I walk up and down the cliff and see if I can see an easy way down. Or see a path down.
Ooh. There is a path down. It doesn't go all the way to the cliffside, but there is an area, another little ravine that has a dry creek right now that gets you to about 20 feet above the water's edge.
Okay, so I will head down this creek, and perch on the outcropping and take another look at these folks on the rocks.
Yeah, what was that perception check you made? 27?
27, yeah.
Yes.
Now that I'm down here, do I get a better look at these people?
Yeah, the ocean is reflecting less strongly in your eyes, and you can see that they have sort of like a kelp covered head dressing or something. Their hair is like this dark green. There's like big leaves of kelp coming off of them.
Can I roll a folklore check?
Please.
Selkies or something like that? No, critical fail. Am I enamored by them?
Absolutely.
I jump off the cliff and go swimming?
I don't know if you jump off the cliff, but they are interesting people who are just chilling on the rocks, couple thousand feet out into the water.
1,000?
Yeah. Did I not say that earlier?
No, I didn't realize we were that far.
Yeah, they're pretty far out.
All right, I think I'll climb down from here then. Leaving my pack and stuff behind in this little ravine.
Mm-hmm. All right.
As the afternoon draws for a close. I mean, I have 4 movement left, so this is like probably late afternoon.
Right.
I will attempt to enter the water. Do I need to make a climb check?
Please do. It's a third of your strength and dex.
Strengthened, so that's 29 divided by 3. It's almost a 10. It's like a 9 rounded up. There might be some bonuses. I fail and fall into the water.
You most certainly do. Roll me 2d6 divided by 2, because you're falling into water, so it'll break your fall a little bit, but it is sort of rocky down there, so you'll like sort of maybe hit a little bit of a rock or plunge into the water and hit something.
Should have taken Feather Fall. I can't use my what spell is it? My glancing blow to like glance the fall.
I don't think so. Because I think your mass is too great to be blocked by glancing blow. There should probably be a mass maximum on it.
Before it ends? No.
All right. 3 points of damage as you plunge into the water.
Below.
Your back hits one of these muscly rocks and cuts you up all over the place. But you don't take too much concussive damage, just the slashing damage. The salt water enters your wounds, the claw marks from the tiger, the lion,
They've healed
the
by
muscle
now,
marks
but-
here. Yeah.
And I go swimming out to the
Stings.
rocks.
As you sort of surface from your mishap, you'll see that only one creature is upon the rock now as you swim out to it.
I'm about to get murked by some selkies. Kelpies, whatever they are.
Get halfway when emerging from the water next to you is a woman. This woman with kelp in her hair, with sort of a greenish mane that comes down to the middle of her back. She
Kelp
gently
in
puts
her hair or for her hair?
in her hair. She's got like a crown of kelp on, or a wreath of kelp, one might call it.
And a kelp bikini?
No clothing of which to speak, but she's at just at neck height with you, bobbing in the wave.
Hello, I say. I saw you from the cliffs.
And I saw you, she says, bobbing in the water next to you. Waves lifting you and sinking you.
What are you doing out here on the rocks, so far from shore? Splash, splash.
Bathing in the sun, for I do not live on land, but under the sea.
You live under the sea?
You are very far out.
I look back, probably for the first time realizing, holy shit, I'm like hundreds of feet from the shore.
Mm-hmm. She puts an arm around you and will help you swim the rest of the way to the rocks where the other can be found. The two of them...
I shrug her off. I can swim on my own, I think. But
yeah, they take this as a good sign.
I don't know where I learned, but somehow I'm a strong swimmer.
There must be a nearby pond or lake near Necrot. They pull you onto the rock and pull you up onto it and feel no shame at their lack of clothing and a great curiosity of looking at you and into your eyes.
I look back at them with my steely gray eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I am Divan. I say. I've come from Necrot, seeking a hero's tomb.
One of them reaches out a hand to stroke your head as they lounge on the rocky outcropping and says, "Tell me more."
Great hero from the sea named Seltzer is interred somewhere here along the coast.
The lady born of mist and spray?
The same. I cock ahead. Where you said you were from the sea?
Mm-hmm. We are.
Are you children of the gods, or have you a mother and father?
Why, we
Same.
have mothers both, and we're all children of the gods. Come, would you like to see where we dwell?
Is this a good idea? While I am a strong swimmer, I don't think I can breathe underwater. I didn't take that spell.
Fear not, we will not drown you or bring you to your doom, they say coyingly.
That sounds ominous. I suddenly shake. No, I should be getting on with my journey.
The other one reaches out and
I don't know
strokes
what-
the side of your face.
Don't know what possessed me to swim out to you.
You are a creature fascinated by new things, as we all are. Come with us. Let us show you where we live.
Did I already roll a folklore check here or not?
You did. You rolled a natural 1 on your folklore check.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I have no idea what these creatures are.
No. But they continue to stroke your face, and I believe I'm going to need you to make me a saving throw versus spell.
Yeah, I think I should be going, he says as they...
No, come with us.
I pass.
Pass. Their charms are not really working on you. So one of them... Does Devon have a beard? Facial hair?
He does not. Smooth
one of them-
face.
Takes her hand and like rubs it just not only over your chin but now up and through your head, kind of like scratching at your hair. And I'll need you to make me now a save versus poison.
Oh God, what? I should have just watched.
Oh my god! You are able to resist their charms, and your intelligence is not drained.
It drains int permanently?
Until they dispel it of their own volition.
Okay.
You are free to go if you wish.
I like step back. I'm like, what do you do to me? What are you?
Sirens. Creatures of the sea. Come with us. Come with us underwater. We'll show you. We have a home down there filled with air for our friends that we find so they can come live with us.
I'm afraid
Don't you
I must
want
be
to live with
going,
us?
But sounds very enticing, but as I said, I have things to do. Perhaps another time.
What do you have to do? And what is your name, fair creature? Lovely man from the land.
I said my name was Divan.
Devon?
Nods.
How... This must be fortuitous. This must be a meeting of fates. I am Siobhan, and this is my sister Lavon. We must be fated to meet.
Sister, I say, looking to the other.
They look like they could be sisters. They've got a very similar facial structure. One of them's maybe an inch or two taller than the other. They're lounging, so you got a pretty good look at their length, height. They're about 5'6". The other one's maybe 5'8".
Are our lives not all rolled by fate, I say? No, I must... Destiny lures me to this tomb. Do you know where it is? Seltzer?
I know not her final resting place. Only that her candle was snuffed out too early. Her greatness unrealized. Her potential unmet.
I nod solemnly. Well, I should be getting back to land.
Won't you stay? Won't you
Not this.
play?
Perhaps another time. It was lovely meeting you.
They are
Hol-
enchanted with you. You have resisted their charms, but you are still
Right?
being like very nice and pleasant with them.
I-
They fawn over you as you attempt to leave. Or succeed to leave.
I will. Let's see. I'm going to use conjure spell component to conjure them a parting gift. Let's see what I can conjure that is worthless but enchanting. What's that? Economics.
Yeah, there's like a spell component subtab.
Yeah, spell component. Let's see what we can do. Need something from the land that what is it? It says examples: wool, beeswax, wolfsbane, sand, dust, crickets, whiskers. Not examples: coins, gems, crow's foot, leather. What? Let's see. The item is physically moved. 2 specific components per level. Will appear before the caster, falling to the ground unless they are placed at the rate. Seems like this is an incomplete description, but that's fine. Give them some crickets. What? Caterpillar cocoon, coffee bean, live cricket.
Yeah, so it'll bring a whole thing. So that's why crow's foot is not on there, is because it's only a part of a crow. So you wouldn't be able to summon, like, unless there was just a single crow's foot lying around somewhere, which seems unlikely. That's why you can summon, like, a cricket, but not a crow's foot.
Let's see. Mummified toad. Maybe the cricket's the way to go. I don't know. Seems kind of odd, but looking to see if there are flowers or anything on this list, but maybe a feather. An acorn?
What is it?
Trying to find the most valuable, non-valuable thing I can use. Oof. Got fireflies in my pockets already, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm enchanted by these sirens and I want to give them a parting gift that they'll remember. Scales, fishes. They get plenty of fishes out here. Silks. Well. All right. I guess we can just give them acorns.
You
Something, yeah. Something from the land to remember me by.
So how does this look when you don't have the acorns in your hand and then you do? So what do they notice about you producing acorns from nothing?
I think just that. I think it's like here's something from the land as a parting gift, and I'll like hold my hands cupped.
Mm-hmm.
And then just do the spell and open them, and suddenly there's an acorn in each palm.
They each take one of the acorns and marvel over it. So
And
smooth, says
and
one, and pointed, says the other.
And as they're distracted, I dive into the ocean and swim back towards shore. That will cost. With one casting, I get 2 of the spells, so I can actually just use 1 and swim.
All right. You can make your way back to shore and give me that climb check to scramble up the cliff here.
Yeah. So it's got to be.
It's 9.
But fortunately, I'm in the water, so I think I just can't get up, right?
Yeah. You find yourself scrambling along the edge of the cliff. And the waves right now might not be that bad, but they do crash upon the cliff, and you worry about your ability to get anywhere. You can't stay getting battered between the rocks and the waves.
Mm-hmm. And I think I will swim away from the cliff and then down the water a little bit to try and find somewhere else to climb up.
Did you already use 2 tiles of movement today?
Yes, I had 4 movement left over, so I don't know how much extra time that buys me.
Okay.
Let's see what we've got.
So I think swimming
I
would
could also
be...
force march. Do you want me to make a con check to force march this?
Yeah, I think swimming might be on par with what do you call it? Walking through the plains, maybe about-ish. So if you can force march, you can probably, if you're actually sort of right on this half hex or whatever, you could probably swim to this half hex or whatever and try another climb.
Do I have to swim a whole hex away to retry my climb check?
You need to go to a place that's substantially different, and I think that maybe a hex might be a good indicator of that.
Well, so it's this hex right here that I would go to, right?
Right.
So
because you're sort of on the edge, so you would be climbing.
Yeah. But I left all my bag and my staff and all my stuff back behind, so I want to double back.
So you'll have to double back.
I do pass my con check.
Okay.
Getting me another climb check.
Oh my god, the exact same roll.
And I think I've just lost my stuff in that creek bed up there.
Mm-hmm.
Battered by waves. There's got to be a beach somewhere along this way, right? I swim for miles and there's no rocky beach to wash up on.
There was got to be some small little outcropping somewhere that you can wash up on. But it is going to be a hell of a night here on the coast as the tide comes in without your gear. I think you will be able to rest but not recover HP or spell power as your night is spent keeping yourself out of the sea.
Yeah.
Maybe scrambling up on some rocks and holding yourself for an hour when the tide's at its highest point. Before it
not being able to find anywhere to climb, so I guess maybe I find a rocky beach where I can rest in and not die in the water, but I can't get up the cliff. So I think I rest and dry out as best I can, and then keep trying, keep making my way down the coast.
Okay. Next,
that's Siren's underwater castle starting to sound better and better.
Mm-hmm.
Next day, starving and getting thirsty.
Yeah, being in the ocean for a long time will do that to you. You can
Yeah.
paddle along the shore. Thank God you took that swimming proficiency.
Right.
And
I wouldn't have wound up in that situation if it weren't. But.
That's true. You can swim southward, eventually coming to this hex where you can make a climbing check, or you can keep trying to swim on. Getting better. Eventually,
Is there a beach down here?
swimming
Oh,
to
sorry.
the plain and finding a nice, soft, sandy beach that just rolls onto plains that stretch on and on.
Is the tomb here?
You pull yourself onto shore, tired. You see no tomb, but you do find a resting place. What do you remember about your instructions of the tomb? Where is
I
it?
thought it was northeast, where the cliffs meet the ocean meets the plains. Maybe this what? Maybe there was
Give me
a
a
three-way
perception.
meeting or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it might be this little nook right here. Oh,
Hmm.
perception check.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it.
Well, with a 31, you will recognize the cliff face here, near where you pulled yourself out of the water, as the one from your dream, but you do not see the grotto that was halfway up it. But the cliff face looks familiar. There's like this
Wow.
outcropping that kind of looks like a crooked nose, like a rock that hangs separate from everything else.
Well,
Very
I take a
distinctive.
day to rest and recover from my forced march. I try and find like some fresh water. Sip on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have trouble finding food, but
If you have all day to... No, I guess you did swim a hex, 2 hexes.
yeah,
So you can go 2 more hexes through the grasslands, basically, or another hex, maybe. You can walk around.
I think I
and
wander
probably
around this
find a little
hex,
water.
try to find some water.
Yeah.
Rest on the beach.
There are small little creeks that can provide you with trace amounts of water. Not enough to really travel for days on end, but if you're spending half a day chilling here, it's fine. And this half day rest will also overcome your force march from the other day.
Yeah.
And it is in the morning when you wake up here and look out, and the first rays of light come striking against you on the beach and against the cliffs, that you see the grotto appears before you.
Only at dawn. It only appears at dawn.
Well, you see it in the morning light when the first rays are touching the cliffside, where it certainly wasn't last night. There it is.
Well, I will go climb out to it while it is here, even though I'm lacking my stuff. Can I find a stick that can be used as a quarterstaff, or
Roll me a d20 and roll like a 14 or higher. This is the grasslands. There's not much in the way of trees here. And what is here is pretty scraggly, not quite straight.
no? Fists it is.
I think this is a great place to wrap up for the day. When we return next
right.
week, we will explore Divans and the cliffs and Seltzer and the sirens and the Krot and MP.
Fun
Cool.
stuff. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. In about 45 minutes, we're going to do critical feedback.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Would you like me to stick around for that?
Yeah, if you want. I'm going to get some water and stuff, but if you want to stick around, we can do critical feedback together. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Great. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.